Hey there, we're Shannon and Jerry Arner, your hosts of the Arner Adventures podcast.
We're a minimalist couple driven by intentional living and adventure.
Burned out from the 24/7 grind of running our business, we traded the hustle and the bustle for something more meaningful.
We parted ways with most of our belongings and moved to the coast.
Listen along as we chat about life's challenges, share inspiring stories of those who have taken big leaps to live a life outside of the norm,
and help you live with more intention and less physical and mental clutter.
Each episode is a step toward doing and being just a little bit better for ourselves and the world around us.
Life's an adventure after all. Join us for the ride.
It's the Arner Adventures podcast.
Well, hello there. Happy June, everyone. This is Shannon. We are back for episode 179 of the Arner Adventures podcast. This week's podcast is a replay of me being a guest on the Girlish Gurus podcast with Lorraine Miano and Joy Alford Brand. Lorraine and Joy are two inspirational women who I have known since before our lifestyle change. So Shannon part 1, Shannon part 2. Actually, I like to say this is number 1, but nevertheless, the old lifestyle, they knew me when we were in our hustle culture era and everything was sort of chaotic all the time. But hey, on paper, we were very successful. So they have a podcast now where it's geared towards women who are 45 and up, just talking about new adventures in your life, new journeys, or all the things that we all go through. But I was fortunate enough to be on their show talking about our lifestyle and the benefits that our lifestyle change made on us physically and mentally. So the conversation is all about living fully with less. So I hope you enjoy it. I thought it was such a great conversation that I wanted to make sure to share it on our platform too. While you're at it, go to the show notes, go take a listen to the Girlish Gurus podcast. You'll love their conversations. You'll love Lorraine and Joy. And if this episode is helpful, please share it with a friend and let us know what you think. But here we go with the conversation.
Back to Girlish Gurus. I'm Joy.
And I'm Lorraine.
Lorraine, what are we talking about today?
Today is a very special day. We have such a wonderful guest that the two of us have known for many years, okay. Shannon Arner. And I'm just going to read her bio for a second and then we'll jump in. So Shannon Arner is one half of Arner Adventures, a lifestyle brand she runs with her husband, Jerry. After burning out from the hustle of owning a business that operated 24/7, and I remember those days, they ditched the grind, downsized, and moved to the coast to live more intentionally. Now they share their minimalist lifestyle, travel adventures, and lessons learned to inspire others to live fully without all the clutter. And I'm learning so much from you. Through their blog, podcast, and brand collaborations, they help people reconnect with what really matters. Welcome, Shannon.
Welcome.
Thank you, ladies. I'm so happy to be here and I'm so happy to see your faces. Oh, amazing. And time flies.
Oh, time does fly. Yes,
yeah, like
sure.
how, so it's been
years. I haven't
2017.
Yeah. Well, no, for me, it was before that.
I think I've known each other longer than I have.
Well, I thought you meant the last time we saw each other. I was like, oh, it had to have been 2017. That's when we left and everything. But no, Joy. No, gosh. I mean,
it had to be 2016.
Oh, I was thinking before that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it's been a really long time.
Yeah, so Shannon and Joy and I were all in a networking group together, and I got to know Shannon pretty well because she joined one of my women's health groups, and we kind of connected then, and she has just since been one of my favorite people.
Oh, yeah.
Really? Yeah. I so missed you when you left and went to the coast, even though I know it's a beautiful life for you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Likewise. I mean, I respect you both so much with just everything that you've done. And I know you just had a podcast about success, and I define success in different ways than, the norm. So you have been successful in many, many ways, both of you. And I feel the same. So I'm appreciative.
Oh, why don't we jump in? Because we have a bunch of questions for you.
So many.
Excited about this.
For real. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, wow, we got to keep this to a minimum because otherwise this episode could be like 70 hours long.
I mean, and I get so chatty. So just tell me to shut up or just edit this stuff out.
Okay. I'm chatty too. So yeah.
We can have a couple of episodes out of it.
For sure.
So Shannon, What
Mhm.
inspired you and your husband to take this on, to pivot to this minimalist lifestyle? And what surprised you the most about living with less?
Well, I wouldn't even I don't even know if I would say that we were inspired as much, and please understand that I don't recommend this for everybody, okay? Like, what we did was worked for us, but it may not work for everyone.
Yeah.
I always preface the story with that, but I don't think we had a choice. So, Jerry and I, like you said, we worked in a business in the pet industry. It was 24/7. It was sort of like it started pet sitting, walking, but then it sort of became like a home health hospice in addition to it for pets, which was wonderful, and we loved it. I wouldn't change that for the world that we did it. But because of what we had, the pressure we put on ourselves about what was going to be successful, as a business, and on paper, it was successful as a business, but we were really burning out. Our health, our physical health, mental health, all of it was just burning out. And in the span, I'm sure things led up to it, of course, but in the span of a few weeks, we decided something had to give. Like, we just could not do this anymore. And the way I describe it is that it really felt like I had this huge weight on me that had to purge. Like, I had to just get rid of this life. I had to get rid of the stuff, get rid of the mental clutter,
Yep.
just all of it. And so we listed our house with Jennifer, a real estate agent you both know, and it sold in a day.
Wow.
And we
Wow.
were like, what are we going to do now? And so then we sold all of our stuff. It was us and our dog and a few things. And then we were just like, okay, we had been consulting with a business broker about the business, and we just realized, okay, I would have given it away at that point. So it was more like, let's just do some pass this client list off to someone, we got to go. And so we left and we moved to the coast, which we, interestingly enough, Lorraine, in your workshop that I had done with you, those sessions, when I did the vision board, I
Yep.
put on there this tiny little cottage at the coast. And I thought, well, one day, I never would have thought within that year that we would have done that. But we moved to a 500 square foot tiny little home here in Beaufort. And it was the best decision we ever made. So I don't even know if I was inspired to do it as much as I really just don't think we had a choice.
Right.
Yeah.
It was the best decision we ever made. I think Jerry, bless his heart, came along for the ride and probably hoped for the best. But it worked out. I think he would say now too that he wouldn't have changed anything.
So he's very supportive. So that's,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
Say
You can.
sometimes, I'm glad you're
yeah.
strong-minded to make some decisions that maybe it would take a while for him to make, because we wouldn't have done I don't think we would have done it. If we'd have stopped and thought about it more, I don't think we would have done it.
You can see in all of your social media content and your digital content that you produce, which by the way is fantastic. Anyone who's
Thank
listening,
you.
if you're not following Arner Adventures, you need to go check it out. Listen to the podcast, check out the social media content, follow. It's really good stuff. You
Thank
can
you.
see you can see how happy he is and how he's an active co-creator. And so
Yeah.
I love that. That's just the
Yeah.
best.
I
Yeah.
do too. I do too. When we came here and Ardent Adventures didn't really exist, we sort of, I mean, to be honest, I remember when I got on and bought the domain and we just said, oh, Arner's our last name. We're on an adventure. This is crazy. Arner Adventures. But it really started as another way for me to avoid people. Like, it was like, I just don't want to deal with the questions about this. I just want to shut that off. But people were calling, and I think people thought they were watching a train wreck. Like, they were just like, you can't
They
look
don't get
away.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we started out as like a journal. Like, we were just writing out what we were doing, and we would get messages of, well, how are you living in 500 square feet? And then we would say, well, we get outside more. Like, we're outside more than we ever were. We started a garden, and all these things about our whole life changed. And the more we wrote about it, and the more then we started creating content around we realized people may look at it, they may judge it, but a lot of people yearn
Want it.
for that sort of freedom.
Mhm.
And I think we as women too, as women business owners, I mean, I did it. I said it. I remember saying all the time, "Oh, this is just, what a life. You're so free to own your own business." And like, I'm talking myself into it. But yeah, I might have been my own boss in a way, but I also had hundreds of bosses.
Right.
And it was not, that was not freedom. That was not what I considered, especially now, freedom. I mean, I
Yeah.
was shackled. I mean,
Yeah.
there was just no leaving that business. So there's a sense of freedom about it. But our community grew because we've been very honest and authentic, and that organic growth took since 2017 until now, but it's been just because we were honest about things, and we weren't that way before.
Yeah. I
Okay.
have to say that, so when you first took this on and you were doing the blogging, and I think it was early on that you wrote about who needs more than two coffee cups. That always stuck in my mind. It's like you and your husband, you each need a cup. And I was just like, yeah, well, who needs a cabinet full? When I tell you, my husband makes fun of me because we have cabinets full of glasses and cups and whatever that we never even look at, never mind use. So that just like hit me. It was funny, but it hit me like, yeah, who needs more than two coffee cups?
That is such an early blog too, like the
Yeah.
early one. And sometimes I look at our website and our blogs, and since I've learned about SEO, and I used to think, well, just write it. Like it's like the field of dreams. You hope people will just come if you put it out there. And now, yeah, I mean, we still write what we want to write about, but we know how to get people to come see it too. And at that
Yeah.
time, I didn't know. Like I look back sometimes, I'm kind of embarrassed, but I'm like, no,
No, not.
it's what got us
I
here,
thought it
you
was great,
know?
and it's that I'll always just remember that.
That's amazing, and we still only have 2 coffee cups.
Good.
Good for you. You know, the thing that I really connect with you on is how you were talking about you have, I don't know how many bosses.
It's something similar, and I was telling someone else this recently who's going through sort of what Jerry and I went through. I can tell she's in burnout, I can tell it's happening, and she just goes, and goes because she's kind of in that same mindset we were, right? That we wanna
Mhm.
help people, and I'm like, "No, I have to be there for that. I have to be there for them, because if I'm
Have
not, who is
to.
gonna be?"
Right.
And I told her, I said, look, I try to think the best of people. I just want you to, and I don't want you to have a negative mindset, but I just want you to get real for a second. If you fell off the earth tomorrow, they're going to figure it out, and they're going to find someone pretty quickly. It's not like they're going to say, oh gosh, all right, well, I guess that's it. She was the only one. And I told her, I know so. Like people would tell us like, "Oh, what would I do without you?" But let me tell you, the moment we were in breakdown mode and I thought, I won't make it past, this year. I won't make it.
Yeah.
Do you think one of those people were worried about that, or do you think that they were like, "Oh, well, you're the only person that mattered." No, they move on with their lives, and it's
Yeah.
not saying that they don't care. It's just people move on with their
Well,
lives, and
that's
so
human nature, you know?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
self-preservation.
It
Yeah.
is. And so we
Mhm.
wanna help people and we wanna make a difference, but I think more so now it's like, well, on my terms. Like
Right.
I'm gonna decide how much of me I'm gonna give away and how much of me that actually does make a difference, or what do I think makes a difference, or let me push, push, push and see if I can make more of a difference. And no, it's not like that anymore.
Gosh, that's so powerful. And really, that's going to resonate, I think, with our audience because our demographic is basically us. It's women who
Yeah.
are over 45 and they're
Mhm.
in midlife. And
Yeah.
so, one of the questions I have is when you are in midlife and you're looking to transition, how do you go about doing it? How did you go about doing that? And what's a good place to start? I mean, how can we pass on to our listeners the best way for them to begin to consider their next chapter?
I think there's 2 parts to this. I think number 1, there has to be some kind of a shift in your mind to not care what people think about that change.
Oh, preach.
Like, I
Mhm.
mean, I just think the moment you go, "Well, what are people gonna think?" Or, "This isn't really the norm," or, "This isn't what I've always done, and they're gonna think I'm crazy," or, "They're gonna think." I think the moment you start doing that, you're gonna talk yourself out of it. And I think another thing is when Jerry and I don't have kids, but we still were in that mindset of what we were supposed to have, at the house. And well, why do I mean, I'm not downing this, but why did we need 2 guest rooms? It was just it was just us. Like what, that doesn't make any sense. But I think a lot of women, when they have children and they're in this point of their life, the children are gone. They I think the first thing to do on a physical part is to look at your physical space. And like if you want to make a transition, it doesn't have to be like ours downsizing, but if it is, or if it's a different part of your life, just look at your physical space, the people around you, the space around you, the junk around you. do you need all this stuff? I mean, I
Yeah.
think a lot of times when you get rid of the physical clutter, it helps to start getting what is the mental clutter that's there that's preventing you from doing whatever it is you want to do. And I think so much about that. I say there's two lives. There's like that previous life we had and the now. And I just think, what I don't understand. Like we would make really good money and then buy things because we thought it was going to impress people that we didn't really like. Like it's like, why were we even doing that? And then we have all this stuff around us, and it's like, why? And I don't even think you realize it. So I think you have to assess your physical space and get rid of the things and the people and the tasks and the obligations and the things that you don't even want to be doing. And then stop caring what people think about it if you say no. Because here's the thing, nobody even really cares that much. We
That's right.
think they do, but they
As
don't.
as a mom of 3 adult children, I'm just putting the word out there to anybody who may be a Gen Xer or a baby boomer. Your kids don't want your stuff.
They don't.
They've all
Oh,
I spent so much time putting together scrapbooks that I think I did it for my son. My daughter saw it and said, "Mom, it's okay. You don't need to do it for us." So instead, all the stuff that I had carted from house to house to house from the time that they
Oh
were
my God.
preschool to whenever, we sat down one day, went through it. They kept anything they wanted and the rest went in the trash. And we had the best time just going through it. So, but now
yeah,
it's so hard. I mean, because I've always
it
been
is
that
hard.
person that was the keeper of the family history.
Yeah.
Ah,
Nobody really
yes.
cares about it anymore.
No.
Nobody wants any of that. So I'm trying to do my best to get rid of it.
When my grandmother passed away, and then and it really hit me when that happened, that we were all in her house just going through just so much crap and things that she saved of ours because we gave them to her when we were 4,
Aw.
and then we feel this guilt, and it's like, I
Right.
don't want anyone to feel that guilt. Like, I
Yeah.
just they're already, mourning and going through a loss, and then to have that, not that she did that on purpose, but
No,
I
no.
I will tell my mom sometimes, like, "Don't keep my high school, whatever." Well, I'm gonna get rid of it. Get rid of it. I don't want it.
And don't
If
tell
I didn't
me.
even know you had it, yeah.
Yeah.
If I didn't even know you had it, get rid of it. Like, I don't want it. Yeah. Yeah, nobody does care, and you think that they will, but they don't.
No. But
Well,
actually knowing that the kids don't want it, and when they told me you don't have to make those, there was a big relief that I had.
yeah, because it's
Ah,
You
work, because
know?
it's
Because it's like, oh,
emotional
I felt
labor.
obligated. I felt an
Yeah.
obligation that I had to create these books for them. And
mm,
It's
so
emotional
there was
labor.
quite a
Yeah.
bit of relief.
emotional labor. Yeah.
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 Yeah, totally. I'm
So
excited for you.
Shannon, another
Mhm.
part of your Instagram that I absolutely love. First of all, I love the color that you do. I was talking about that with Joy,
Oh,
but is your travel. And
Oh,
because
yeah.
I am a travel person,
I
I'm going
know you
like on
are, and I
6
can't
trips
wait to go on a retreat with you one
this year.
day.
Yay.
Joy
Same
and I are
here.
planning one.
Yep. Get ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you've traveled a lot. How do you balance that adventure with intentional living and sustainability?
So with the business that we had, we never traveled. I mean, we couldn't,
You
you
couldn't.
know,
Mm-mm.
no, we could not. I mean, because if there was even with our staff, if there was an emergency, we were the backup and we had to take care of things. So we could not travel. So the first thing once the dust settled, what we had done, we were like, "Oh my gosh, like we can go here, we can go here, we can go do things." Or so we started out small, and then it kind of got bigger, and when we started writing about the feeling of that, of, "Oh my gosh, like not only are we able to travel, but it's also opening our minds more to the important things in life." And there's that book that the hospice nurse wrote. I know that she
Their
wrote about what
regrets.
the regrets of
Yes.
the dying. And one of the biggest things is that people would say they wish they would have traveled more.
Mhm.
And I read that book, and I just thought we have to go as many places as we can. We have to take advantage of this opportunity. So at first we were just like, go, 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 and checking the box, checking the box. But then it was more like, well, this doesn't really align. Like, we need to be learning. I fully believe everyone should travel, because
Right.
I think that's the problem with society, and that would be a whole other podcast, is people's minds aren't open to other cultures. They don't understand anything outside of their bubble. And I think once you do, it starts making you start assessing things more, like, your own space and your own ideals. And so we started more and more learning about like slow travel and sustainable travel and having more intention. So if we went somewhere, I didn't have to go, okay, what are the top 10 things that we have to do? It's like, well, I want to know about what there is to do here, but if we only get to one of them, it's okay. Like we can come
Mhm.
back but at least we really lived that experience instead of checking the box and seeing all the things and hurrying. So I think the balance for us is definitely traveling when the opportunities come up, but really immersing ourselves in, well, what makes that place different about our own place? And it could be a different state, a different county, it could be different country. But I think for us, it's been really important, and we feel like it resonates so much with our lives because of that part of it, about really like the enrichment part of the travel and the places that we go to is it's so much more intentional.
Well, you do such a wonderful job of showing that in your posts that I wanna be you when I grow up.
Same. Mm.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I wouldn't admit this to anyone. I tell anybody this that we do use Lightroom. We have a filter that we put in a lot of our pictures.
I know, but
Um,
it's still,
but
I mean, you can, I mean, obviously, because a lot of the
yeah, the
colors the same,
blues. Yeah.
but still, just the content of where you've been, and I love some of Jerry's drinks, and so
Yeah.
a lot of the things that
Yeah.
you do. It's just it's fun, it's
Yeah.
inviting, and it's
Oh, yeah.
inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's nice to hear. I think social media is one of those delicate things. Like I love it so much because it has grown our community and like-minded people, and I can now go places and feel like I know someone there because of social media. Then there's another part where you can get
Right.
on there and you can feel like, well, how
Less
come my
than.
life doesn't
Yeah.
look like theirs? And we talk about it on the podcast all the time. I'm like, yeah, this was so great. Please understand that when you see social media pictures, we picked the best out of 100. And we
Right,
picked,
right.
Yeah. It's curated. Yeah.
it's
Intentionally.
curated,
Yeah. Sure.
intentionally curated. So I feel like our blog and our podcast is more of a narration of those things to really explain, but it does pull people in to see places that they might not have gone before. And that's meaningful, especially to a lot of places that we've been that I feel like needs more attention.
Yeah.
Right.
So what's one destination that changed your perspective on life and how you live day to day?
Puerto Plata in Dominican Republic. The first time we were ever there was on a Virgin Voyages cruise, which, by the way, I wasn't even a cruiser before, but Virgin Voyages, and this is not a commercial for them, but they're wonderful for people who don't have kids and want to invest in a travel experience where they don't have to deal with the water slides and the goldfish and the
Yes.
pool and all that stuff. Anyway, so we were actually we were working with Virgin Voyages, and Richard Branson does a really great job of when he chooses ports that they're gonna work with, he chooses ports where they really need it, and he's very intentional about that, and we love that, but we'd never been to this part of Dominican Republic, so we got off the ship, and it's very poor, and it's
Mm.
very, very different than what we're used to here in America. Most places are. But when we got off the ship, we did not invest in an excursion. We were like, let's just walk around. We're going to figure it out. Well, when we started walking around, there were, officers with big machine guns and very different. And we were like, what? Okay, this is very different. But long story short, we ended up walking a few blocks and found this rum distillery, and they welcomed us like we were family, and they were so happy for us to be there. And we had this wonderful day with this family and would not have had that experience. And
Yeah.
then we walked back and they explained, we started talking to them about they were like, no, our officers just carry those. And they said they want to protect, they want the tourists to feel safe because we
Mm.
depend on you.
That's
And
interesting.
so I
Yeah.
learned, okay, I don't need to always judge things by, if they have machine guns, that doesn't mean it's crime ridden. It means that in their minds, they were like, we needed the tourists to feel safe.
Hmm.
And so we've been back several times since and gotten to know more of the people there and the people who own businesses there. And it's really changed our mindset. I mean, they are very poor, but they don't want all these things that we feel like they should have. Like, they
Mm.
have this beautiful beach and someone told us recently, well, yeah, when our older people start getting sick, they just go to the beach more. We just tell them go get the salt water and it helps our people live longer and it has touched us in a way that nowhere else has. It's
Ah,
just beautiful people, beautiful place. I highly recommend it.
that's wonderful.
Hey, Lorraine, don't forget, it's time for us to schedule our Lifeline screening appointments. They're 5 simple tests to help us keep on top of our heart and bone health, which is important for women over 45.
Yes, Lifeline Screening has been the premier provider of preventative health screening for over 30 years. In that time, over 10 million people have had screenings to detect their risk of stroke, cardiovascular disease, and other chronic illnesses. Lifeline Screening can provide meaningful benefits for your body and mind, and that's why they're committed to delivering accurate results and recommendations that could give you a healthier advantage in your everyday life, such as early detection of serious conditions, prevention of disease progression, peace of mind so you can enjoy life, savings with more affordable screenings, and no insurance required.
Yep, and don't forget, by using the link in the show notes of this episode, you get a special offer available to Girlish Gurus listeners, so make sure and schedule your appointment.
Get peace of mind now. Here's to your good health.
Yeah.
Well, I love how we're talking about your social media and how it's curated, but to me, it shows you what's possible. And my question is, okay, so you've built this business, you've got this whole other life. Your life is just completely different now. How does that compare with your life before in terms of success? What does success look like to you now? Because I feel like, much like myself, I had a successful career and now I'm embarking on something completely different. And just the comparison of the two is something that is endlessly fascinating to me. So, how does that look to you? Does it compare?
I think well, thank you, first of all. I think I'm so thankful that we went through all of it. I mean, when I think about that, sometimes I do. I mean, I'm in therapy about it. I have a lot of PTSD about it.
Mm.
And when I think about just the push, push, push and caring so much about those numbers and what what I thought was important and all of that, I don't think I would have number 1, I wouldn't have had the life I have now, but I wouldn't appreciate the things I appreciate now if I hadn't gone through that. Like, when you were saying that the travel stuff about this is what life can be or it's possible, I mean, I am very upfront about this. We do not make close to the money we made before, but our lifestyle doesn't need that. As long as we're paying our bills and we're setting aside money for retirement and we're taking care of ourselves, to us, that is number 1 important, and that's success. Whereas before, it was so much of I just remember every month looking at that number and going, "It has to go up, has to go up." And then the next month it would go up, and I
Yeah.
would feel like, "That's success. No, it has to go up." And it would go up, and that's success. It never was attainable. It would never and then what would have happened if it would have doubled, tripled, quadrupled the next year? I would have we would have just been busier, more frazzled. I have a lot of control issues, so I was never gonna let it go for someone else to just operate. I was never gonna do that.
You would missed
So,
out on a lot.
Yeah. And
yeah.
what happens to you is physically you dump all of your energy and health and wellness into that. And then, yeah,
Yes.
you might have money on the other side, but you're spending it on trying to fix your healthcare issues, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, I think, Lorraine, I've probably talked to you about this. It might have even been on my podcast, but when we made that big change and life changed completely for us, we became so much healthier. I lost like 75 pounds. And this was,
Wow. Wow.
I still get haters and trolls saying, just admit you had surgery or just admit, first of all, I would, and I would have had it sponsored. Okay. I would have had somebody take care of it. It really was this lifestyle change, and I didn't even realize how unhealthy I was because I don't know, I didn't take care of myself, and I was going to the doctor every year. They sure didn't even tell me, and I'm
Right.
not that's a whole other thing. But we were outside more, we were active, we were moving, you have 500 square feet of a home, you want to be out doing stuff and you want to be active and traveling and taking care of yourself and growing our garden and all of the things together. And it didn't happen overnight. I mean, it happened over a few years. It was right when COVID hit. So that was 3 years later is when I started going, wow, my blood work is different. And
Wow.
oh wow, like I can breathe better when I'm, running around with Betty, our dog at the time. And it was noticeably life was more enjoyable. And it was all of those things together. And so for us, success is the health aspect too. It's like so much of those things. It really has nothing to do with the money. It has
Right.
nothing, success has nothing to do with the money. I just want to be content. And I don't even ask for sunshine and rainbows. I'm not asking for glitter every
Right.
day. I just want contentment. I just want to be able to breathe and feel good about myself.
I
And
love that.
that's something we did not have before.
That's
Yep.
so refreshing. I mean, really. And I think that will probably hit a lot of people out there right where they need to hear it and maybe didn't even realize they needed to hear it. Because I
Yeah.
think there was a time when you weren't, how do I want to say it? I just remember in the group, I remember you
Hmm.
being very stressed, but I don't think you were ready at that moment for
Right.
this transition.
No, I wouldn't have been. I
No.
really don't think I was going to be ready until it happened. I mean, I
Yeah.
just don't.
Yeah.
I think it was I used to say it was like the perfect storm, but I don't even want to say that because it led to this beautiful thing for us. I mean,
Right.
all the hardships and all the, our dog at the time who passed away was like our child. Now, with all these things that were happening, it happened for a reason. And I'm able to see now that, yeah, there really was happiness on the other side where I wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't have thought that. I just wouldn't have seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
And when we talk about, like, when I say, we don't make nearly the money, it's like, but I feel richer because I'm able to have experiences and I'm able to travel. And we do like have more money in our bank account than we did because we were
Yes,
just
because you don't
spending
have
it
to
all the
pay
time.
salaries. You don't have to pay
And
salaries on your
salaries
stuff.
and
Yes.
payroll taxes
And all
and
that stuff. Yeah.
all that stuff. Oh my gosh. And I will say, someone asked me one time, they said, don't you think this is I don't know, like a first world choice that you can make? And I'm like, I don't think it was a choice. I think it really happened because
Yeah.
I don't think I had a choice. I don't think I would be here today still if I still had that life. And so for us living with less and choosing to live with less and choosing to live a different way, it's purely attainable. Like it's just attainable. You just
Mhm.
have to put yourself first and you just have to do it. You
Right.
just have to do it. Whether it's starting a new business, whether it's making a different lifestyle change, and where do you start? If you have it in your head, go do it because you just can't care what everybody else thinks
That's
about
right.
it.
You can't. You really can't. And you're in
Yeah.
your position for a reason. I had someone tell me one time, you're going to give yourself a heart attack. And I was pretty young and I thought to myself, no, this is just how it is. This is when you're practicing and you're doing this and you're doing that. And I just look back on that now thinking to myself, probably.
I used to hear that all the time too. And I think in my head, it was the same way. I was like, but that's hustle culture, baby. Like, I got to
Yep.
keep going. Like, I got to
Right.
hustle. Hustling, you're not. So I'm going to be more successful than
That's
you.
right.
And no, I'm going to be dead. And
Right.
that's not cute.
No,
No.
that is not cute. No, it
Yeah,
is
I know
not.
women tend to wear hustle as a badge of honor.
Hmm.
So you used to have a
Oh,
mug that
I
said
didn't get
it.
any sleep. I can't sleep. I've got too much to do. I've got too much on my plate. And they may not even realize they're wearing it as a badge of honor, but they are, and
Hmm.
not
Totally
realizing what
agree.
it's doing to their life, to their
Totally
health.
agree.
Yeah.
Yes. Which you know better than anybody. And yeah,
For
but like you
sure.
said, I mean, I learned so much from you, Lorraine, and I still carry the things I learned from that, but I just wasn't actively practicing them then. But I'm
Yeah.
glad I have it because now I have the knowledge and I can
Yeah.
practice those things. And yeah.
Yeah. I
Powerful stuff.
appreciate that.
Very powerful stuff for sure.
So, how do you keep your creativity flowing? And I'm sure people have asked you this, living and working from a small space. Do you find yourself Well, I mean, you've shared travel is a lot of your creativity, so you're already out
Yeah.
of the house, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every morning, and I've never not done it, rain, sleet, snow, since I made that change, 2017. Every morning I take a walk, a long walk, at least an hour. Sometimes it's an hour and a half, and it's easier by the water. I feel like for me to
Oh,
clear my head and just I have to start my day that way. I'll just share with you, like, we have a brand campaign with an airport that we were trying to do some content for, and I've been, like, stressed about it 'cause it's a big deal. I've been pretty stressed about it, and I'm like, I want it to be authentic, and this morning, I'm on my walk, and I'm just, like, thinking about different things, and hand to God, you can't make this up. These 2 dolphins go and the seeing dolphins never gets old, never.
I know.
And they're right there, and these 2 go, and I'm like, "Ah," and I get all emotional, and it's like a big deal, and then I'm just standing there, and I'm just thinking, "Gosh, I just always wanna appreciate this. I always wanna appreciate it." And then I turn around, I walk around, and then the idea for what I was gonna do came into my head, and it was so simple, and I was like, "Why didn't I even just think about that?" So I think, first of all, it sounds cheesy, but I think you gotta get out of your environment and get outside.
I cannot
And
agree more. I think that is
Yeah.
so true.
it's so beneficial mentally and physically. So, like during my work day, and I'm working home here, and I use the Pomodoro method. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's you literally set a 25-minute timer and you say, okay, for 25 minutes, I am only concentrating on
Yeah.
this
I have
focused
heard that
task.
before.
So, it could be that I have to work on a blog, and it takes me longer than 25 minutes to do a blog, but I have to stay focused, and I'm not gonna veer off. The timer goes off, and I think the rule is to take 5 minutes. I do 10, and I always walk outside. If it's, walking around the house, just literally laps around the house, if it's just standing on the porch or whatever, but I have to get out of my environment, and usually when I do that, something will click. Oh, when you get back, make sure that this is
Yeah.
the idea or whatever it is. Those ideas and the creative moments come when I get outside. And I know now, like when we're traveling, get as many pictures, as much video as you can, and just figure it out later. Don't try to do it right now, but just figure
Right.
it out
Enjoy
later.
the moments, but you can
Yeah.
still be getting,
Yes.
well, like Joy always says that everything is content.
Don't forget
It
to
is.
film it. Everything is content. Yeah.
It is. Literally, sometimes, like, my mom has a business, and I'll say, "Mom, please just set up the phone and hit record while" she makes candles. I'm like, "While you're making candles, just a few seconds of that, like, that's content, just do it." So, yeah, I am mindful of my phone, but when I'm working and I'm at home, I am on do not disturb most of the time. Like, I cannot think of a time I'm not on do not disturb. I just don't wanna be bogged down by that. I would get rid of my phone if I could.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Um,
I kind of love my phone.
it
Is that bad?
It's a love-hate relationship. I mean, it
is.
really is.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Well, we couldn't be in business without it,
Well, that is
basically.
No.
true. That is
No,
Not
true.
not at all.
nowadays. Yeah.
Okay, so we've kind of talked about this a little, but I feel like our demographic, they are looking for their next chapter. And what would you say to, say, a woman over 45 who is stuck and just can't make a move? Where would you start if you were you, but not you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the easiest thing that comes to my mind is you just gotta do it. I think that's it's easier said than done, but it's also very easy to do. I mean, I did it. And again, I'm not it's hard. It is hard, and it's hard for people to make transitions, but I think most women get caught up and like I said, in caring because the first thing you do is when you think about, "Well, I wanna do this," or whether it's travel, whether it's a business, whether it's paint, whatever it is, first thing you do is, "What's someone's gonna think about that?"
Yeah.
Or, "What will" I don't know, like, if someone comes over, what are they gonna say? Or and I you just we think so much of ourselves and what other people think.
It's true.
And I'm just like, I've told this story before that, on our podcast, but I'll make it really quick. We were at a cookout probably like 2 years ago, And, you can tell there's people who think a different way than you do and all that. And I knew we were in that kind of a situation. And he did the whole thing. Well, what do you do? And I hate that question, first of all. It's like, well, I live my life. I'm trying to live my life. Aren't you? Like, let's just try to get
Do the
through it
best I can.
the
Right.
best I can. And I knew what he was saying. And I kind of was like, we're gonna have to tell a little bit of the story. And I kind of went into it, and he's just looking at us and shaking his head. And he's a business owner. And I thought he'll
Well, so are
appreciate it.
you.
But I was thinking he'll appreciate like that's, the burnout and all of that. And I thought, okay, he'll get it. And Jerry and I are telling him the story, and then he's just shaking his head and he goes, I guess you're just living on love, aren't you? And I said, yeah, yeah, I think we are. I mean, that we weren't before. And we just walked away, and Jerry said, that used to would have bothered me. He said, I think people why do they get so defensive? And he said, I think he wants to have
Jealous.
that kind of a freedom.
Yeah.
And so I think to myself, I was super anxious about, and that's why we started the blog. I didn't want to face anybody. I didn't
Mhm.
want anyone to say, you're really screwing up. Like, I can't believe you did. And we would hear some people, well, oh, your client said they just could not believe you did that. Like, what have you given up? What have you done? Well, no, I'll tell you what I gave up all that time. I gave up a lot. And so I just think we have to stop caring what other people think. And like I said, whether it's about what meal you're going to make tonight, whether, you're going to buy a new car, whatever it is, as long as you're not hurting anyone and you're not hurting yourself, who gives a shit? Just do what you want to
Yeah.
do. And you're going to be so fulfilled if you really are yearning for something in your 40s, your 50s, your 80s, that you did it finally, and that, you're not gonna be somebody who's on their deathbed wishing that they had done that thing. I mean, what's the worst that's gonna happen? If the result is not, "I could die," okay, then go ahead and
Yeah.
do it.
Right. Right.
What other reason would you have? I mean, just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds
Mhm.
so simple.
I
It
know.
kinda
no.
is.
I think Joy and I both live by that rule,
Yes.
right? And we're just like, do something every day that makes you excited, no regrets. And like
Yeah,
travel is a big one for me. It's like I want to go as
yeah,
many places as I can for as long as I can. And in that regard, we want to stay as healthy as we can for as long as we can
Right.
yes,
and don't beat our bodies up and make as much of a difference as we can for as long as we can.
Right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Shannon, do you miss your old life at all? And are there any doubts or what ifs?
I do not miss it.
I didn't think so.
Sometime every once in a while, I'll go, well, what if I would have just done this differently? Or what if when things really started taking off, what if I would have changed this? Or what if I would have let go? But I think nowadays, I don't have anything about my life that is not literally, I'm so grateful, and I'm so, hell yes, I'm so glad I did this. And that never was the case before. So the what ifs do come. I think that's probably normal, but they are quickly snuffed out by the gratitude for just anything I can have now. And you know, 2024 was a really hard year for us, just emotionally, and we lost Betty, our dog, and it's just a whole year of just, it seems like all these things were going just terribly. But the difference is I really was able to start seeing things that I'm grateful for, where I just couldn't even see it before. I
Yeah.
couldn't even stop. I mean, I couldn't stop to even try to have a gratitude practice. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible. I just didn't stop. And
Yeah.
so I just think things become more clear when you're in a space that you enjoy. And so for that, I never think, what if I was back there? That would be great. Never, never, never.
Yeah. We can tell.
Yep. Mhm. Yeah.
So we have one last question for you. Joy will ask you now.
Okay.
Okay. So when we have guests with just such a rich philosophy as you do, then we want to wind up the episode by asking you, what three things would you have told your younger self so we can pass some of that philosophy on to
Oh,
our
I could
audience?
cry. I could cry thinking
I
about
know.
that.
Same here. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Well, the first thing I've said several times is please, please stop giving a shit what people think. Like, oh, please, please don't do that. And that people on that same one, people just are not thinking about you as
Right.
much as you think they are. They're just not. They're not going, why did she wear that dress? They're just not, they're not thinking about. I would say number one is please stop thinking about that. It's kind of same, but number two is don't be afraid to take those risks. I had a therapist ask me once, if there were no risks involved, would you make this decision?
Hmm.
And I think about that sometimes. I'm like, but kind of like I said earlier, if you're not going to die or you're not going to hurt anyone, just do it. Like,
Yeah.
who cares? Like, if it's money you're scared of, whatever. If the end comes, you're not gonna regret taking those risks. Gosh, the third thing, I don't know. It's hard to say. I want to say, do all of this earlier so you could have more of your
Oh,
life. But
yeah.
I've heard you both say on one of your podcasts that there's something to be said about like having, I can't remember the way you worded it, but it's having that experience, having that sort of seasoning that
The
in your life.
failures.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think you have to have those failures. And so, number three is sort of, I don't know. I don't even think it would be possible to make the decisions I made earlier. But yeah, I think just do, if you have the goal and the vision board and all those things, and I totally believe in manifesting and I believe in all of that. I just think that don't just look at the vision board. Like, don't just look at it and have the one day. It's like really just do it.
Right.
So they probably all mean the same thing, but those are the three.
Make it happen.
Oh,
Make it
yeah, for
happen.
sure. And,
Yeah.
I think there is value in saying, make it happen earlier, even though you feel like, well, that might not be possible. But to have that encouragement from someone who's done what you have done to say, yeah, you can do it. That is so valuable and powerful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And sometimes
Yeah.
that's all we need is we need someone who is doing it so that we can look at that and say, it's possible.
Totally. Totally. It's sort of like when you have a goal of something, whether it's career wise or anything physical or whatever, you start looking for other people who've done it. It's like you
Mhm.
want to know it can I do? Is this possible? Or, yeah, I too think that's really important is to know that it is attainable and that there's the regrets. I mean, is there any regret? I don't know. I
Yeah,
always think you could probably do something different, but yeah, there's no regrets.
good. Oh, that's wonderful. I think
Yeah.
you can't get any better than that. I think that
Yeah.
says it
Oh,
all.
So Shannon, tell
yeah.
everyone where they can find you. I know that there's Instagram, maybe you have a website that you can share, and we will put
Yeah.
links to this in the show notes as
Mhm.
well.
Well, thank you.
Mhm.
I always just give everybody the website's the home base for everything. ArnerAdventures.com. That's ARNER, like Garner without the G. ArnerAdventures.com. It's our blog. We have, resources and all these different things, but then you can sort of go off from there to Instagram or sign up for our newsletter, find out about our podcasts, all of those good things. So that's the home base.
Yeah, I know all the ladies listening will be doing that because
Yes.
you are an inspiration. You truly are. And you need to go follow her on Instagram because you will just be so inspired by all her beautiful posts.
Yeah, I
Oh, well,
love it.
likewise. You two are so inspirational, and I'm so glad you're doing this podcast. I'm so glad. It's like such a value that you're putting out into the world. And you both should feel
Yes.
like that you're
Oh,
doing something really good.
absolutely. And I'm having just a ball.
Yeah.
It's a blast.
So
Yeah.
glad.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. And Lorraine, I mean, again, not that people don't have hardships and triumphs, but I feel like Lorraine, you're just living this life that you just want anyway. And I just feel like it's like you just go with the flow. And I know things look easier on the outside, but you both are just an inspiration. And I'm
Uh,
I'm so
thank you,
Thanks.
thankful.
Shannon. Thank you.
Aw.
And we do miss you, and we want to come to
Oh, yeah.
Beaufort and
Oh,
visit
yeah,
you.
for sure.
We don't have space for you to stay at our house,
No,
Oh,
no, no,
no,
no.
that's okay. We can manage that.
We'll bring a
but
tent.
yes. We have lots of, hotels and Airbnbs. They're building a new Margaritaville, which is crazy. I don't even like to think
Really?
about it, but yes.
That would be a fun time. We need to
It would be
make that
so
happen.
much fun. And I want to know more about your retreat. And
Yes,
I'm
we
gonna
would
yeah.
love
follow,
to
make
have
sure
you.
I know
Oh my
about
gosh,
it.
that would
Yes.
be, it would be awesome.
It'd
Awesome.
be amazing.
Yeah.
When you were talking about getting out of your environment, that is one of the reasons why we're doing those retreats, because that's where you have those epiphany moments where you're like, oh, this is what I should be doing, or maybe here's an idea, or here's how I can solve that
Yeah.
problem, or whatever. Yeah, getting out of your environment, that's a big one.
Connecting with other like-minded
Mhm.
women, and yeah.
Yes, there's
Oh,
something to be
yeah.
said about that. And also not having I loved the networking group we were in. It did fuel my hustle culture though. Like it fueled that. And so I think being able to recognize some things that work for you, and maybe if it's no longer serving you, that's okay.
Mhm.
I mean, seasons change, your life changes, and what you need changes. And I love situations like that where you can get away and be in an environment with other women who are maybe on the same path, or maybe, a little bit different, but they're looking for support in different ways.
And find a renewal of some sort,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Shannon, thank you so much again for
Yeah.
being here. We love
Thank
you.
Oh, we
you.
do.
I
Thank
love you
you.
both so much, and I'm
Aw.
so appreciative.
Yeah.
Aw, thank you so much.
If this episode resonated with you, or if you know of someone who would benefit from what we talked about, please share it with a friend.
It's a great way of supporting the podcast, and we really appreciate it.
Another way of supporting the pod is by leaving us a 5-star review or rating on the platform you are listening to us on.
And go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That also supports us. You can always find us, the show notes, and sponsors who support the podcast at arneradventures.com.
And until next time, enjoy the journey you're on. We're wishing you lots of adventures.
Bye-bye.